Ooh, that's smooth jazz. Coming back at you with episode 4 of the Hometown Brawn podcast. Some new music about to drop.
To hold on if we move too quick. Everything we're doing might have been for nothing. People are talking all real and they're real, and that it's not happening yet.
Hey, I understand that people wanna get out there. I understand it, but we have to be responsible. It just burns me up.
These are the things we know.
All we have to do is stay the places.
A bunch of yahoos, fun like these
That's some catchy tune right there. Now, just to clear this up, I'm not calling everyone a bunch of yahoos for listening, but had to ease into that with a little bit of humor. Right now, everyone at home has all kinds of time on their hands, so they made that catchy song out of some pretty real comments that were coming from Doug Ford, and the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So we're going to talk about that right now. I know that there's a little bit of civil unrest. People are getting antsy. They're getting, biting at the chomp to get back out there. But there really is a time and a place. And that time right now is at home. So everyone needs to stay home and just prepare. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. Before we get into that, welcome to Hometown Brawn podcast, episode 4. We're on now. Thank you for joining us in our journey so far, if you've been along. And for those of you that are new, welcome. What we do at the Hometown Brawn podcast is we talk about what's going on in here and talk about real business topics. And we also sit down with entrepreneurs in hometowns all across Canada. The first bunch of them are going to be in Barrie because that's where we are, Barrie, Ontario, Canada. But we're going to start reaching out to cool little hometowns across Canada, maybe even the U.S., and talk with business owners and entrepreneurs from there and find out what they're doing during the new normal. Okay. So today we're going to speak with Darci Williams. She's a hometown hero here in Barrie, and that's what I coin her, because she's not only a business owner entrepreneur, she's also a volunteer firefighter. So I don't know where she finds the time to do it, but so great that she's doing that. Now, Darci and her family, her brother and her mother and her father all run this brewery together, all equal partners in this brewery. And they are dog lovers. They have 4 dogs in their family, and they like to work with charities and dog rescues. And what they did was this really cool campaign last year where I saw it and I just thought, wow, that is cool, outside of the box thinking. What they did was they teamed up with a dog rescue and put dog pictures on the beers, and you could adopt those dogs, the pictures that were on those beer cans, and they were sold all across Ontario in the beer store and the LCBO. So what a great cause. They're up to some really cool stuff, and we're going to find out at the end of this call. Okay, so this month, the month of May, is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the CMHA, the Canadian Mental Health Association, has Mental Health Awareness Week, which runs the first week of May, which we're in right now. So for this podcast and the next one, we're going to talk about some stuff that CMHA is running right now. They've got a really great campaign, and it's called #GetReal. And this really struck home with me because if you know anything about me, I'm very active in the entrepreneur community. And the reason that I started this podcast was I found that people didn't open up enough. We didn't talk about our struggles. We didn't talk about the toll of being an entrepreneur and what that takes on our body and our emotions and our relationships and all that. And we didn't talk about the great successes either. I just found that everyone, kept it bottled up inside. And I don't think that is right, because we're suppressing everything down and eventually we're going to pop our top, and that's not good. So CMHA recognizes right now a lot of people are just burying it down, and everyone's saying, I'm fine. That's it. I'm fine. And there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of underlining stuff that's going on and people aren't talking about it enough. So I'm going to set the tone. I'm going to tell you what's going on. I'm going to get real, #GetReal. And I'm going to talk to you about what's going on with me. And hopefully that will allow you to do the same. Get real with somebody. Talk to your friends. Talk to those close to you. Open up. Talk about your fears. Because we will get through this together. I talked about optimism last week. Well, we can get through this with our optimism, but we also have to face what's happening. Okay? So me getting real, me talking about what's going on. I'm worried. Of course, everyone's worried. We're scared. The uncertainty is everywhere, right? So I'm worried about my parents. I'm worried about the in-laws. They are of an older generation. The vulnerable population right now is very susceptible to contracting COVID-19. And what does that mean for them? I mean, if their immune system is weak, they could perish, and that's terrible to think. So of course I'm worried about that. I'm worried about my daughter, right? My daughter is, she's turning 4. She's going to kindergarten this September. She's so excited about it. She talks about it every day that she's growing up, and she can't wait to go to kindergarten and meet new friends and learn. And I'm scared that she's not going to go. I'm scared that all this time that she's at home for, these several months, she's missing out on social interactions that could really help in her developmental stages. That she's not having that. And what is that going to look like moving forward if there's no school in September? How are these things going to affect her developmentally, right? So of course I'm scared about that. I'm scared about my business. I mean, we're all entrepreneurs. Our business provides for our family. We don't know how this recession that we're going into is going to affect buying behavior. We don't know how our supply chain is going to, fall apart. I'm dealing with trying to source new packaging from all over because my packaging sources are dried up because the supply chain is so backed up because of what happened in China and all the safety measures that are happening that everything is slowed down. It's taking now, used to take 4 weeks for me to get a batch of product produced for Always Bearded. Now it's taking 3 months. What is that going to look like? So I'm scared about that, but I know that I will get through this. I can weather this storm. I can do things internally because I can't control that. There's no need for me to stress out about that more than I have to. Of course, it's always going to be there. We're always going to recognize it. And I think it's important to recognize those feelings that we have and not just suppress them and try and just say everything's fine. We're going to be all right, but it's okay for everything to not be fine. That's all I wanted to say about that. Okay, so I talked about at the beginning of this, I played the Bunch of Yahoo song, and the reason I played that was just to spark this conversation, and that's about being prepared. I think that right now everybody wants to get back to work. And of course we do. We want to start making money again. We want our business to come back, right? But there are certain things that have to be in place before that, and we can't control them. Everybody, these protests that are happening out front of Queen's Park of all these people that are trying to get back to work and saying, down with everything. Guys, we have to be prepared. I mean, if you think about it, if you rush this and all of your employees start getting sick with COVID-19, how does that look on your business as a manager and looking out for your employees? I mean, these are part of your business. This is an extension of your brand and your company. So it's very important that we set up everything properly. Okay. So have you sat down? Have you looked at what the new safety precautions are going to be in your workplace? Are people wearing masks or face shields? Are they wearing gloves? Are you implementing somebody who's taking care of the sanitation on an hourly basis, spraying down everything? Are you creating plexiglass barriers between your employees and the public to limit those points of contact? Are you doing curbside pickup? I am. I'm doing curbside pickup. I'm doing free deliveries. I'm doing everything I can to get my packages, my products out to my customers. What I can do, but I'm still saying staying safe. So I really implore you to set up those structures, those standard operating procedures that you need to have in place, because you will get shut down. Your business will get shut down if you're not following these. So go to the Health Canada website, read up on it, and implement those in your business. And I don't have to tell you about what that's going to look like from a community standpoint when they look at your business and you just wanting to rush back to things and not worrying about the safety of your employees, right? I've also started looking myself, so I just want to share a little bit about what I'm doing to prepare. I'm doing that as well. I'm also outsourcing what I can, because I am here alone, and I am taking care of everything that's happening at the office here. So I'm outsourcing what I can. All the packaging that I don't have to do, I can just send out to my manufacturers. I'm getting them to do as much packaging as possible. So it's costing a little bit more, but in the same sense, I'm having less points of contact. So my manufacturers are making it. They used to send it to me and we would package it here. We would put labels on it. I'm having them put the labels on it and just having them bring it to me ready to go out the door, so I don't have to do more, because my time is really limited. As an entrepreneur, our time is our biggest and most valuable resource. We wish we could clone ourselves, but we can't. So what can we do? We can outsource as much as we can. We can have people working remotely as best as possible, so that people don't have to come into work and they can stay home. But are you setting up plans with your employees while they're home to maximize their production and their efficiency at home? Because, kids are coming in, do they have a partner that's able to separate at least, 4 hours for them to work at home? Put a note on the door, don't bug daddy or mommy. And then the other partner takes the kids for those 4 hours, so that employee can be, working as best as they can at home. I know it's so I wanted to also share what I am doing here. So I talked about I'm doing curbside pickup. I'm doing drop-offs in the community and surrounding areas for all the orders that are coming in on my website. Another thing that I'm doing, and I just did a webinar with the Georgian College Entrepreneurship Center, where I talked about how I am really building my customer relationship management tools right now. And I'm using those to reach out to my customers, because our customers are, they're not working. They're the retailers, my wholesale buyers, which are my retailers, are closed. So I'm reaching out to them, letting them know that while their staff is at home, I'm more than willing to meet with their staff, train them on product knowledge for our products, so that when the stores open, they're going to be more well-versed in how to present our products. They're going to provide the best option for the customers based on their needs. And our products are going to sell better because of that, because we're top of mind, right? Top of mind recognition. Let's start building those relationships where we can, providing value. That's a term that CMHA has called caremongering. Caremongering doesn't have to be monetary. So guys, caremongering can just be reaching out to people and just asking them how they're doing, getting real, like we talked about in this podcast. Reach out to your customers, ask them how they're doing, connect with them on a personal level, because everybody is kind of a little bit in their shell, and I don't think people are reaching out enough to each other. So even with your friends and your family, make sure you're reaching out to them a couple times a week, checking in on them, making sure they're doing okay. And it's also going to help you, right? By doing caremongering, you're going to help and decrease your stress levels, and you're going to feel better because of it. And, a terrible fact that I saw that came out from the CMHA was that, being stressed and not having social and strong relationships can be the equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Wild, right? Almost a pack of cigarettes. The equivalent to that is not having strong relationships. So if you don't have strong relationships and you're stressed out and you feel alone and isolated, that's going to be terrible on your health. So make sure you talk to people where you can. You get real. Okay, let's get into this call with Darci. We're going to hop into this and learn what she's doing right now with Redline Brewery. Super excited. Here we go.
Yeah. You got the whole setup in there, eh?
Yeah.
Like a professional place. Jesus. That's awesome.
Hmm. So did you, how's the day going, by the way?
It's been insane. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
It's been a mix of everything. It's been really insane, but it's been good because today's like the first day that we put it out, and there's been a lot of hurdles to get there, but we've had,
Hand sanitizer.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like the first day we've ever, like, we had like lineups out the door today, which was just insane. We've never had that before, but you know, it worked out and we got it out there. So got most of our donation out too, which is sweet. But yeah, I mean, we have no idea what we're doing, which is the best part. So
Mhm.
we're not trying our best, but
So I have a question to ask for you then. I know it might not even be possible, but is there a way for us to do a collaborative hand sanitizer, or are you just too swamped with demand? And I totally understand if you are. But I just think it'd be really cool if I gave away like a little small hand sanitizer with like our products.
yeah. So right now what we have, I mean, it is for sure. Right now what we have is like, we canned it. I actually have one here. So like we actually put it in like a normal can. And then we have like a resealable lid, which is new. So it's like a, you know, like the Yeti slide tops.
That's so cool.
So, and we got them made, which is like kind of brand new for us, which is awesome.
Mhm.
So that's just like our liquid sanitizer. What we'll have like the next week or two is actual like gel. And then you know those like baby food containers where you like twist the top off and it's like a pouch.
Yeah.
We're putting it in those because and we can do custom graphics and everything on that. So we have them in like 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 16 ounce, everything like that. So that'll be like the gel one, just because there's such a shortage right now. We can't find any plastic bottles in the world, and we can't find any pumps or any foam or any like anything along those lines. So we had to go kind of like untraditional ways of packaging.
Yeah.
But so we can definitely do a collab. We'll have like the 2 and 4 ounce ones,
Okay.
and then we're gonna have the ones too we're making where it's like, you know, it's like key cards that you have like attached to a string on your belt loop kind of thing, like scan. We're
Yeah.
gonna have, we're gonna be making those with as like a slide out like hand sanitizer thing too, which is kind of cool. So
That's sweet. So yeah, I think it would be really cool
Yeah.
if we had your branding on it too, and that way we can promote you guys too,
Yeah.
and send it out to everybody that buys our products, and keeps their hands safe and their beard safe at the same time.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How about you? What are you doing?
Well, I'm doing the podcast, and then Always Bearded is doing really well. Amazon's just flying
Amazon,
right
that's
now. Yeah, so Amazon's keeping us really busy right now. Everyone's shopping on Amazon, right? Because everything's
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
So we've seen our Amazon sales double in the last month.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. And then I teach marketing as well.
Oh, nice.
So I've been doing that online, which is like a big learning curve.
Yeah.
for me. So it's been hectic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna turn. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. My fire radio's on. Hang on.
Okay. I guess let you talk about Redline and how did it all start? Like we're always interested to hear about how people's businesses started up.
Yeah, so we're family owned. So it's my parents, my brother, and myself. So we're all equal partners. To be honest, I know a lot of people are expecting like a bit of a fairy tale story when it comes to brewing. My dad's a little insane.
Okay.
So he was in sales for his whole life. He used to sell heavy equipment. So we have 2 businesses. So we still have a heavy equipment business, and then because he used to travel a lot in sales, he just kind of got this passion for craft beer and started traveling around the world looking for craft breweries. Long story short, he said, I've always wanted to own my own bar. I've always wanted to own my own restaurant, and why not make it a brewery as well? We thought he was insane, but he kind of came home one day. I was still living at home. My brother was still living at home, and he was like, well, I rented, like I got a lease on a building, and we're going to go for it. And I don't know how. Now we all say this, like looking back, we should have been like, no, that's not something you should do. I don't think that's a good idea. But we were all like, absolutely, let's do it. Like, let's go for it. So
cool.
we kind of each took our own part. It's funny because none of us had any idea about anything brewing related. That was the one part that we didn't know a single thing about. So we met up with our first brewmaster, and he was really, really great. So we started getting into it. We got all the tanks, and sure enough, we didn't open it kind of how most breweries did with like, a smaller scale and then you grow. We kind of opened up, we opened up a beast. We opened up a huge retail store, a huge restaurant, a huge event space, and a huge brewery.
Yeah.
But
It's a big space.
it is, yeah. We're 10,000 square feet and we use every single square inch of that. Like we are
Wow.
busting the seams right now. And then in our business plan, it was supposed to be 5 years that we put an expansion in, and we did that within the first year and a half, which has been really great. So, I mean, the story of how we started and why was because for some reason we all jumped on the bandwagon, and it's worked. To be honest, it's been awesome.
So tell me, I guess, I mean, running a business with your parents and your brother, I mean, it's got to be hard and have its own set of challenges, right?
Yeah, there's definitely some family fights in the office. That's always fun. There's no denying that. It kind of works though, to be honest, because we all kind of have our skills. My brother's so technology inclined, and he's like our MacGyver. He can fix anything. He can make anything. It's amazing.
Yeah.
My dad's like the born salesman. Like he can sell anything. He knows how to run a team. That's great. I do all the marketing, social media, creativity part of it. And then my mom does all the finances. So we kind of each have our own part, and it works as long as we stick to our own lane. But when we start to kind of merge is when it gets a little fun. But to be honest, it's also awesome to see like your family every day, because a lot of people don't get to do that. So it's been great.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I noticed one of the things that I really love about Redline that I've seen you guys do is a lot of stuff outside of the box, trying to bring the community together. I know that you're a dog lover, and you've done, some stuff with local shelters, just adoption days and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you've done, live music on a constant basis. I'm sure that's that stopped for a little bit, but you've done really cool stuff like local beer making competitions where you're getting people to, bring cool new beer recipes in, and that's really cool. It seems like community is really important to you. I mean, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So an aspect of like the craft beer industry that I didn't expect was how friendly it was. So the first thing I noticed when I got into the industry and when we started Redline was just how friendly everybody was, and how, everybody wanted to help you, and, how craft beer was such a huge thing that made people connect. And I never expected that, but, between social media and people visiting different breweries, everybody connects so strongly just from craft beer. So we decided to expand on that. So the way we look at it at Redline is we're always a brewery first and then a restaurant second. So we always wanted to involve the community, no matter small or big. So we kind of do everything. We want to see what other people, we do home brewers competition. So it's, if somebody has a really awesome recipe and they only have minimal equipment, so enter it in the home brewers competition. If it's awesome, we'll brew it, we'll put it on tap, we'll let everybody kind of experience it, which is great for us too. And, how cool is it to say like, I got my beer on, the tap there. And
Yeah.
It's really my mom who's the community minded one, to be honest with you. She's always thought about expanding it. Like, how can we be more? How can we involve more people? How can we, ask more opinions, and how can we help other people? She sponsors a full village in Nicaragua, and she's down there twice a year for a month at a time. So it really stemmed from that. It was like, if she's helping out so far away, how can we do our part in Barrie, and how can we really be involved in every aspect instead of just kind of being another restaurant or another venue like that?
Right.
Kind of just, we wanted it to be an experience, and it's opened up so many doors, but it's also just opened up so many experiences for us to be involved in other things besides just beer, basically.
Yeah. Well, I think when you collaborate like that too, it just really evolves your business in ways that maybe you didn't know were going to happen, and then next thing you know, it's really changing the way that you do business.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so you guys, Redline, your beer is in LCBO. Is it in the beer store as well?
It is. Yeah.
It is. Okay. And
So,
are you guys outside of Ontario, or is it just Ontario for right now?
So right now it's just in Ontario. We just, with our licensing, you got to have different license per province. So we're working on that as well. We just confirmed our licensing for the US, so that's been great. That's kind of where we're focusing on. Right now we're in the LCBO with 2, but we just got 2 more in, so you'll see us in there with 4 soon. In the beer store, we're in with 2 different ones. So it's kind of a mix and match. We did that strategically. It's like if you're going to the beer store, you can get these 2, but if you're more of an LCBO, you can get the different ones.
Yeah.
It's very competitive to get your beer in LCBOs and beer stores. There's so many craft breweries. There's so many major breweries out there, and you're kind of fighting for a number on the shelf. But it's been good for us because, you know, we get to actually meet people face to face when they come in to the door, and then if it's a little bit farther away, we can ship it to them. But for the most part, LCBO is our main point where we're trying to get it in.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, now that COVID-19 hit, right? You know, you guys you got a sit down restaurant in there. I mean, obviously that's closed, and the retail store and everything is closed down. It looks like that you've made some safety changes though, and that you're allowing people to, like, you've got barriers set up.
Yeah.
From what I've seen on social media, and people can come in. Like, how has that learning curve been? Like, just adapting everything into like this, you know, safety first mindset.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, you brought up how's it working with family. This is one thing as a family we definitely argued over. It was trying to figure out what way to do things, what's the best way. And the problem for us is, just as everybody experiences, every small business experienced, rules were changing so rapidly, and it was by the hour, you know.
Right. Yeah.
You can stay open, but no, now you can't. And so for us, it was, what are we going to do? And we wanted to be ahead of it. We didn't want to just be falling behind so when COVID happened and the quarantine started, and, you know, recommending like social distancing and stuff, we decided we're just going to close the restaurant. We'll be open for takeout. It was kind of our way of just extra safe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that would take a hit because our main revenue stream was the restaurant. And so for us, to be honest, that was terrifying. We had no idea what we're going to do. That's something we relied on. I mean, just like every other place, we have rent to pay, we have bills, we have employees to pay. So we closed the restaurant down. We stayed open for takeout. That was the first step. And then obviously things got more serious. Rules got tighter. We then moved into curbside pickup, calling orders, and then it really moved into online. We started home beer deliveries, which, I mean, our sales quadrupled, I think, just for online sales, which has been absolutely insane. So I'm doing all the local deliveries myself, which geography I'm really challenged with. So it's been good getting to know Oliberry. But it's also so great to meet the customers where you know, they want to meet you. They want to know how you guys are doing. They want to know, is my order helping you? You know, is it helping you stay afloat? And you also get to see the faces ordering your beer. So it's, as much as COVID's been scary and, you know, unpredictable, it's also spun into such a positive for us because we get a more interaction with our customers, and we love it. So right now we are offering online home delivery. And if we have a full home, like, we're delivering to all of Ontario right now. We're going as far as Niagara.
Wow.
And we're going all the way to Muskoka as well. So it's been great.
So how are you managing that? I mean, surely you're not driving this out to Niagara.
It's between myself and another driver.
Okay.
So I'm doing Barrie and sometimes Toronto as well. He's doing, you know, Southwest, he's doing Niagara, everything like that. So we have specific delivery days that we post for the month. So we'll say, you know, on the 14th we're in Hamilton, on the 15th we're in Toronto, on stuff like that. And then that way we have cutoff times so we can figure it out. If somebody is really off the grid but they're in Toronto, we'll ship it to them, which is totally fine. But it's been a lot of logistics, and luckily our team is just so committed and so strong. It's honestly, they've made it pretty easy. So it's been great.
I wanted to talk about like the apps. So like DoorDash and stuff like that. I see that you guys are using that as well. Is that like running parallel with your beer delivery system, or how does that work?
That was also a big debate. I mean, Skip the Dishes and DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff, as much as they're amazing, they take a huge part of our profit.
Yeah.
Every restaurant's dealing with that. That's just a fact of what you have to do to be on it. But it's the only way to kind of get that side of your business out to the public.
Yeah.
It's been really slow. Like takeout for us has been slow, and it was concerning at first, but I mean, it's completely understandable right now. There's so many restaurants out there that
Yeah.
food
It's
is
so
the only
competitive.
revenue stream. Yeah. And I don't blame them at all. Some companies are doing such an amazing job of not being on delivery services. And then, they're going so above and beyond, to get like to deliver, and they're having their employees stay on payroll so they can deliver instead of using an app and stuff like that. But it's been great. I mean, revenue wise, we're not even close to beer deliveries, because like just food is just down.
Yeah.
Which is totally understandable. There's expected.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, there's so many apps too, right? So I mean, if people are doing it through your beer delivery service, I think you guys should continue to grow that, right?
Yeah, and I think it's Skip the Dishes that just added a really great feature that when you order food, if a company has alcohol too, you can order it from there. So I know that's been helping us. So people are ordering some 6-packs with their dinner through Skip the Dishes, which has been amazing. But it is what it is. You kind of have to jive with different apps, different. I know some companies are on this app but not this one, and same as us. Like we're on DoorDash and Skip the Dishes, but not Uber Eats. And it was funny. We wanted to be on all of them, but the backlog it takes like 3 or 4 weeks to just get on that delivery service apps because they're so backlogged with restaurants trying to sign up. So,
right.
Yeah.
I think that's, I think there's a lot of that happening right now across all different platforms, right? Everyone's just trying
to go online and try to make it virtual just to stay alive, really. So,
yeah. Well, I think you guys have done a stand-up job at adapting and shifting and pivoting, and I think you guys have really been on your toes on everything. One of the things that's really cool is that you guys shifted to making hand sanitizer, and so how does that work? Like what was the learning curve? Like I see you guys started making it for frontline workers and for healthcare organizations, right?
Yeah. So when we started it, so we have a brewing license. We don't have a distilling license. So, sorry, my dog's snoring, and I'm just going to wake him up because I'm sure you're hearing him.
Okay.
Thank you. There we go. Yeah. Sorry, he snores really loud.
That's okay.
Anyways, yeah. So we have a brewing license. We don't have a distilling license. So for us to bring alcohol in, we had to partner up with another manufacturer, just logistic wise. So trying to figure out the best way to explain this. When we started making sanitizer, the best way was for us to locate the actual alcohol itself. So we're bringing in 97% pure alcohol. We like to think of ourselves as like modern day bootleggers, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we sourced our alcohol. I believe one was from the United Kingdom and one was from San Antonio. So we brought them in. We had a soap company in Toronto that helped us out with that. And they would send us the finished product. We would package it. And then that's what we have today, kind of the first stage of the liquid sanitizer going out.
Okay.
Again, I know as you said before, but we did it in cans just because there was such a shortage on like plastic bottles or pumps or anything like that. So we kind of worked with what we had. We know how to can. We have a canning machine. Why not put it in a can?
Sure. Yeah.
We did have the custom lid made, which is like a resealable lid. And we were so excited about that because we've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. The next stage will be gels. We're hoping to work on that next week. It's just a different, way to source products and to combine them, which we just didn't have right now. So we released the first step right now. So that'll be pouches and should be available within the next week or so.
Okay.
So, I mean, it came down to it is we have the main, unlike a lot of other businesses, we have the main tools and equipment to make hand sanitizer and package it. And we just decided it's, the World Health Organization was amazing. We actually worked directly with Doug Ford to get our licensing, and it just worked out amazing. So
Yeah. So you guys are having it. So are you guys manufacturing it there? I mean, you said that you were getting the product already made.
yeah, so we didn't get our we have our manufacturing license technically, but we don't have our
Yeah.
distilling license. So we bring the alcohol in to a warehouse in Toronto. They mix everything together, and then we get the finished product shipped up to us in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
as much as we did have a manufacturing license, we chose to forego that process just because it's a bunch more stuff that you have to bring in. So we already partnered up with a company in Toronto that had their resources and they were ready to do it. So we just figured that was the best way.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still like, there's a lot to do because you guys probably have to do you have to shut down the beer area to make, or do you do it in a different section? Like how does that work?
Yeah, so we have 8 tanks. So we have, trying to figure out if I can do it in my head. We have basically, simply way to put it, we have 4 smaller ones and then 4 bigger ones. We basically split it in half. So
Okay.
we're still brewing beer. We still stuck with that. We didn't want to change our release dates. We didn't want to change that. We had our brewers in all the ingredients. So kept with that. And then since the hand sanitizer is coming in a done product, we just put it in totes. And then put it right to the canning line. So we use 50% of our tanks for sanitizer storage and then 50% for brewing. So
Okay.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Now, do you have any other advice for businesses? I mean, you've been so great at adapting. I mean, what would you say, above, patience? What would you say, what would you say to other businesses looking to shift their business model during these times?
Yeah, it's so hard because it's honestly such a case by case basis. I mean,
Yeah.
we're a little bit different. We had the equipment, we had the resources just to do what we do every day. And it was a huge change for us and it was hard to walk through, but it just comes down to what you're willing to adapt. I mean, I know if some people are stuck in their ways, it's a little bit harder. Like they don't want to get on apps or they don't want to get an online store. Or I know for us, when we opened, we pushed back getting an online store for 3 years because we were like, it's a whole beast. We don't want to get into it. That's terrifying. How are we going to manage it? And I would say now is definitely the time. The world is going virtual, especially during COVID. Trying to ship things to people's doors, the only way you're going to stay afloat pretty much. And we definitely learned that as soon as we opened up online resources and trying to figure that out. As I said, we quadrupled online sales. So
I think COVID's going to
it's adaptability.
I think COVID's going to change the way that the world behaves too, because I think there's a lot of people that maybe didn't use a lot of these apps or have realized the convenience in having things delivered to their door.
Yeah.
I think that's going to really change the way people behave. Just, buyer and consumer behavior is just going to change, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely scary to watch how many businesses are saying we have to shut down permanently.
Yeah.
I also think it's a huge eye opener for the public. I mean, the amount of restaurants that I've seen shut down already, people don't realize that our margins are so small.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying we're closing down because we literally had a month of revenue to keep us afloat. And that's we've been doing business for 25 years. So we don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting. And I think a lot of people realize that now and why prices are the way they are. So yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I won't take too much more of your time, but I did want to ask you, you had your fire radio on earlier. So you're a part-time firefighter as well?
Yeah, I'm a volunteer firefighter with the township of Essa. I'm out of Angus at Station 2.
Wow. So how do you find time for that? Like, can you get a call like while you're making hand sanitizer and be like, shit, I gotta go? Like there's a fire?
Yes, that is essentially what happens 100%. So because we're volunteer, we have our radios on with us 24/7. So it is a 24/7 job. Luckily it's like if I'm at work and we get a call, it doesn't really make sense for me to drive home to go to the call. So if I'm at home and I'm able to make it, then I will go.
Yeah.
That's kind of how volunteering works. If you're within that range and you can make the call, you go.
Do you keep gear in your truck and just run out like you're Superman and change in a phone booth?
I wish, but no. You always have to report to the hall and then you go in a fire truck. So you have to go to the hall first, get your gear on, and then go as a crew.
Okay.
So you can show up on scene. So you got to go to the hall first. I mean, if I got a call right now, I would go to the hall and then we go there. It is hard balancing it too. And, to be honest, we've been slow because of COVID. Paramedics are taking medical calls. So we're really taking like the true firefighting, like the rescue calls or the car accidents, something like that. So our call volume's down. Has its pros and cons. Obviously, like we miss each other, seeing each other at the hall every day. We're a really busy station, so we're used to having up to 3, 4, 5 calls a day.
Right.
And right now we're not at that. So it's been challenging. All of our training to move to online. We're only at the hall if we absolutely need to be. And so it's a balancing act, but at the end of the day, I absolutely love it. So it doesn't really feel like a sacrifice or too much to balance for me. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I won't let you go, or I will let you go. I won't take any more of your time. I really appreciate you chatting with me today, and I'll get in touch with you and just about what we can do to put together some collaborative
for sure.
hand sanitizer as well.
Yeah, let me know. That's awesome. We can definitely work.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much, Darci. Have a great day and a good weekend, and we'll chat soon.
Sounds good. See you later.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Before I leave you for the day, I just wanted to give a shout out and a thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of our frontline healthcare workers and essential workers out there for all that you do. Thank you so much. To my fellow entrepreneurs, thank you for listening. Keep powering through. Stay positive, stay optimistic, and stay hungry. Thank you for subscribing below to our channel, listening to us on Apple Music, on Google Play, on Spotify, and we'll see you next week.